Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I have a bit of a treat for you guys. This was an extremely unexpected occurrence, but today I got the opportunity to talk to David Serland, also known as Tiggr. He is one of the lead producers working on the next Battlefield title. And for whatever reason, for the first time in a few months, he started responding to people on Twitter. I was one of the people he responded to. And then for just reasons I still can't believe, he appeared randomly in my Twitch channel, and we actually talked for about 20 minutes. He was in my Twitch chat responding to the people that were in the chat at the time who were, of course, asking so many questions. So I just wanted to do a big recap of this because it's rare to see any community interaction from really anyone at EA DICE working on the next Battlefield game. But it's particularly rare to see community interaction from a lead producer, and even more rare to see it from someone like David Serland, who, if you take a look at his Twitter account, tweets maybe once a month and then gets off of Twitter for about 5-6 months. So yeah, should be a pretty cool video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll try my best to start from the top to just explain how this sort of happened and all the little nuances. So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and definitely let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get into things. So I'll just start at the beginning. I tweeted something on January 24th, and all I said was, boggles my mind every time I get asked if EA invited me to playtest the next Battlefield. And what I'm referencing here is, with the new article that Tom Henderson put out about Battlefield playtests, whenever something about Battlefield playtesting comes up, of course, you guys, my community, ask me if I got invited to playtest the next Battlefield. And I completely understand that that question does come from a good place in your guys' hearts. You know, you guys apparently want to see me playtest the next Battlefield, or at least hope that I can playtest the next Battlefield. But the reason why I tweeted that it boggles my mind that people ask me if I got invited or not is because it's so obvious, in my opinion, that I will never be able to have early access or playtest any of the newer Battlefield games before they come out, simply because I very publicly critique a lot of things that they did over the years, and I'm sorry, but EA doesn't really like that sort of thing. So my expectation, it was always and still is, to never be invited to do anything of the sort. And I accepted that simple truth for about 5 or 6 years at this point, pretty much as soon as I started streaming. But for whatever reason, I woke up today and my phone was just getting blown up. Like, people were DMing me on Discord and everything. And then I saw that I had a reply from David Serland under this tweet. And I was like, well, hold on. Why is the lead producer from DICE working on the next Battlefield game replying to this tweet? And David Serland's reply to me basically saying, you know, I'm not going to get invited to the next Battlefield, guys, like, relax. He replied, don't count your chickens on that yet. And when I read this, I was kind of confused because, like I said, David Serland replies to maybe 2 people on Twitter every 4 months. So I knew this was an extremely rare occurrence to begin with, but then on this tweet in particular, and why now, just before everything starts to ramp up? Overall, my feelings around this were I was just very surprised and caught off guard, and I just replied to him like, oh, lol, like, oh, okay. At the time, I didn't really know what else to say to that because I just was so surprised to even see the response in the first place. But then David Serland started going through the thread and replying some pretty awesome messages to other people. But I think one message in particular will resonate extremely well with the entire community of Battlefield. He replied this to one William Mack on Twitter, and he said, I am not known to go after the yes-sayers. So basically the yes men, the people that agree with everything and are just there to be involved with EA and be involved with Battlefield on an internal level. Then he goes on to say, with BF4, for example, we targeted the most negative voices, Battle Nonsense for one. It was essential to get them on board and believing in the approach and the game. Only way to do that is to have them play and interact with them. And for those of you that don't know what he's referencing with Battle Nonsense, in Battlefield 4, I think Battle Nonsense was a creator that was particularly involved with critiquing the netcode and trying to improve that aspect of Battlefield 4. But what an amazing message here from David Serland, specifically mentioning in the beginning of the paragraph that he's not known for going after yes-sayers or yes-men. I mean, I can't even believe I am reading this message coming out of a lead producer's, keyboard on Twitter. And then the meaning for the message for me personally, right? He's responding to me because I assume that I am, quote unquote, the most negative voice for the past few Battlefield games, and maybe they're trying to get me into some sort of internal playtests with the next Battlefield games. I don't really see any other reason why he would specifically reply to someone under one of my tweets mentioning it's very important to get negative voices in on playing the games if that weren't the case. But like I stated previously, I accepted that I would never have any of these opportunities about 6 years ago. So I'm just going to sit here and chill like I always have. And if something happens, then cool. If not, that's the expected outcome. But nevertheless, an extremely important message from David Serland there. And then in a separate reply under the same tweet, David Serland replies to someone calling him the only reason they still have a bit of tiny hope. And he has this to say, quote, I think I've said this before about a Battlefield title. It is necessary to convince through gameplay being played, not words or promises, all in time. Again, a very important thing to understand with the next Battlefield game being displayed by one of the lead producers on the game. David Serland is showing us that he understands that they need to convince people through raw gameplay, raw results, essentially. And that's good. That is absolutely fantastic. That is what should be happening moving forward with the next Battlefield title. And that is what I've been calling for the longest time. I've called for people not to pre-order the games. I've called for people to basically, don't get fooled by trailers, don't get fooled by marketing, get your hands on the game and make them earn your money through results. And once again, I think it's great to see lead producer have the same sort of mindset about wanting to deliver those results to you. But now the most unexpected thing of all happens. I start my stream after these brief Twitter interactions, and at the beginning of my stream, I start going over them, just talking about how I was really surprised to get a reply from him, and I didn't quite understand why he did it or what the meaning was. And then I look over at my chat, and I see an account called Tiggr, okay? And he first time chats this message, sorry for the confusion, I'm a busy guy, and I'm ramping up this part of the game dev production. Well, shit. That is Tiggr in my Twitch chat. And some people watching the stream in my chat were, claiming, oh, that can't be him, can it? So this actually triggered David Serland to tweet on his main account to confirm that his Twitch account was indeed the account he was on while he was speaking to us in my stream, which was pretty hilarious. Again, pretty insane. Cool to see. But after it was confirmed that that was David Serland in my Twitch chat, all the questions under the sun started rolling in to him from the people watching my stream and from myself. And he was cool enough to sit around for about 20 minutes to answer a ton of things. Now, I do have to sort of quell your hopes here a little bit. He did not confirm anything new about the next Battlefield game. He specifically stated that he just has to keep extremely tight-lipped about that subject, and of course, that was to be expected. But after speaking to him, the general feeling was just, I don't know, it kind of gave me hope, and that word doesn't leave my mouth very often. It really doesn't. But he kind of gave me a little hope, because he was extremely open-minded, he was extremely responsive, and it was like talking to your buddy or your friend that you played Battlefield with for a very, very long time. You could tell that he's a real one, okay? He gives a shit. He knows this. He knows the games. He loves the games. He plays the games, and he wants them to be good. One of the first messages that he typed is, quote, I'm not here for hype training. I believe in showing games by having them played. So you could sort of take a guess as to what he means by that. Maybe he's saying the next Battlefield game will have a more gameplay-driven trailer or be shown via live gameplay for the first time. In general, he said multiple times now in this one video that he's a fan of showing games by having them be played. So, again, big fan of that sentiment there. And then after that message, I believe I mentioned something along the lines of like, I never thought that I would have the opportunity to like speak to you or like any of the developers. This is very unexpected. And then he said, quote, I obviously can't tell you anything real, just so we're clear. I just want to acknowledge we see you and hear you. And when he said that, I think he was referring to me as in like myself. Like they acknowledge and see me. And I was like, I didn't even know. I still don't know how to respond to that because like I said, I've just sort of accepted that there's going to be zero chance of me ever working with like Battlefield in general. So seeing that sort of message from DICE's lead producer I don't even know what to say. But after this, the conversation sort of went into what he did on Battlefield 4. CTE was brought up. For those of you that don't know, David Sirland really can be credited with saving, or at least helping save, Battlefield 4 in its entirety because of the community test environment that he had a huge part in. Then the conversation shifted to some specific game features that we would like to see in the next Battlefield game. And I mentioned that I would like to see grabbing health and ammo kits off of players from Battlefield 5 brought into the next Battlefield game. And I also mentioned that I really liked that thing over the minimap from Battlefield 5, the UI element, that told you when you were spotted, and it even told you in certain scenarios what you were spotted by. And lo and behold, Tiggr is responsible for both of those things being added into Battlefield 5. I did not know that, but he did mention that he loved to see all of his little features being brought up. And of course, while we were on the topic of Battlefield 5, attrition had to be brought up, and I expressed my distaste for attrition. He also said that he was not a big fan of attrition, and it just became a button press loop must-have, which is annoying, of course. Then the conversation sort of shifted into talking about spotting and the Doritos above people's heads, and we were going back and forth, discussing various aspects of it, but he was saying that the act of shooting just the Dorito itself without actually being able to see the player model isn't very fun, and it should be a more enjoyable combat experience. And one of the final things that I sort of briefly discussed with him was the fact that I would really love to see the vehicles be much improved upon in the next Battlefield title, and I emphasized to him, really take a look at Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 vehicle mechanics and design and the way those vehicles were. I think there's a reason why Battlefield 4's vehicles stand the test of time to this day for the most part, and he responded by saying, yes, it's very deep. Vehicle versus infantry is a key loop to get good and deep, and by deep, I assume he means like deep mechanic-wise, like in-depth gameplay. But after that little tidbit, he did have to leave, but that was, again, really interesting. Basically had an impromptu exclusive one-on-one with Battlefield's lead producer. I was thrown in the deep end. I didn't expect this today, but we had a cool conversation. I was really surprised that he stuck around for as long as he did. And it was really cool to see him respond to people asking him questions. He had great answers and was generally just really, really easy to talk to and was very, very open-minded. So that's really all I have for you today in this video. Let me know what you think about it. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't get your hopes up too much about the next Battlefield, guys. But it sucks because I want to get my hopes up about the next Battlefield. But it's just one of those things where you can't, because you have to see the results. You just have to see what happens, and you can't let yourself set yourself up for disappointment. So again, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that thing, and come by the Twitch streams, because who knows, maybe some more random developers will come around and talk to me. I highly doubt it, but didn't expect to talk to the lead producer of fucking Battlefield today. So, who knows? Swing by the Twitch streams. Crazy stuff happens there. I'll see you guys later.